Welcome back, dear viewers, and it's always our pleasure on your favorite show, Hala Kuwait, to meet the leaders of the future and the influencers from our lovely country, Kuwait, and how they inspire their colleagues and also university students and everyone from the new generation. So our guest now, joining us, our second guest of the evening, is Yousef Qabazard, an influencer. Yousef, good evening. It's really a pleasure to have you with us on Hala Kuwait.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
It's really our pleasure. And we're really curious and we are wondering, of course, we know that you have this great experience in psychology,
Yes.
and we'd like to know your interest. What sparked exactly your interest in psychology and also neuroscience?
Yes.
And what led you to have it as personal development, and how can it help you to be in personal development with these two majors?
Psychology, I started studying it on my own. I never was interested, actually. Started studying it. I started studying human behavior, why we do what we do, why we think what we think, because it's mostly conditioning from our past. And sometimes we're not aware of that thing. And we grow up with these beliefs, these thoughts, and we're not aware of them. It's mostly unconscious, because 90 to 95% of our thoughts are unconscious. For example, tying your shoes. Do you think how you tie your shoes, or do you do it automatically?
Automatically.
It's a habit. You got used to it. You don't even think. So it's exactly the same with everything you do. It's just bringing the unconscious to the conscious so you can know how to decide better. So I started looking at myself first, my beliefs, my thoughts. Where are they directing me? Where are they leading me? Because here in life, we're all leaders of ourselves. The first person you lead is yourself. So where are you leading yourself? That's the most important thing. And we have 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. The question is, what are you thinking?
Exactly. Which one we choose from the thousands of ideas
and thoughts? Yep.
Exactly. And we're really wondering also, Yousef, about neuroscience and psychology.
Yes.
And we see sometimes, you see like social media, we have this posts regarding psychology, and we read about it, and it helps us to self-define ourselves or people around us.
Exactly.
But sometimes it can be misleading if we are not experts and aware of the information we read daily through the social media.
True.
So how do neuroscience and psychology help us better to understand ourselves and our behavior? How to explore ourselves through psychology and neuroscience?
Through experiencing yourself. Information is everywhere. You can use ChatGPT and you can get everything you need. But you will not know what the right information is until you put that information into action. Everybody can have access to information. Information is everywhere, as I said. But how do you put this information, all these things we've been learning, into action? Information is useless. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. It's what you do with the knowledge that helps you guide yourself. And there's something that just came up in neuroscience called neuroplasticity. It's the way that your brain is rewired, so you can really change your brain, change your thought process, change your personality. And it takes like 3 to 6 months to shape your brain and rewire your brain to success, whatever success means to you. So when you get into it and dive deep into it, you're going to learn about yourself. We put limits to ourselves. The only limit is in your mind. We are born here with limitless, endless opportunities.
Exactly.
It's a perspective. You have a different perspective of me. Someone has a different perspective of you. So, but the end, the one that is most important perspective is about yourself, because we see ourselves. Other people see ourselves greater than we see ourselves. Why is that?
They know sometimes our points of strength.
Exactly, and we don't see things in ourselves. So we wait for validation. We wait for approval. But why? We wait for permission to do stuff. But in neuroscience and psychology, you need to discover yourself so you can be aware of your thoughts.
Definitely.
Everybody's trying to influence you, but you need to influence yourself in the end.
And based on the people you've been around, you inspired them with your, like watching, mashallah, your seminars and your coursework, and how you have this enthusiasm and passion to inspire and influence others. Based on your opinion and your knowledge and your experience, Yousef, what is the most common mental patterns or emotional patterns that hold people back from growth? What stops people from growing?
Fear and anger. These are the most emotions that stop people. But the antidote of fear and anger is gratitude. If you wake up with an attitude of gratitude, you'll because it's so easy to see all the bad things in life. It's so easy to see all the things that we don't have. But it's also, you can also see what things you have. So when you wake up with a grateful attitude, you're going to think differently. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have more power. So it all depends on the person himself. But mostly we're driven by fear and anger and doubt. We all experience these things. But what is the difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person? The successful person doesn't let fear and doubt stop him. The unsuccessful, it lets him stop him. Exactly. And it's all illusions.
Exactly.
But when you take a step, when you try to do things, everybody will be scared at first. But we do it despite the fear.
Step by step.
Step by step. And then you can see, oh, I can do this. What else can I do? We're limitless.
Exactly.
That's
what we would like to have in ourselves, self-belief and self-trust, let's say. And some people, like we noticed, we were talking before we went on air about the gym and going to the gym and what time exactly you go to the gym.
Exactly.
Some people I noticed, specifically one person I know, he told me sometimes, like when he skips a diet meal or he does have an earlier cheat meal or he eats junk food or something, he said he punishes himself by doing 40 push-ups, 50 push-ups to burn fat more. So it can be called self-awareness, and sometimes it can be called self-judgment. So can you please tell us the difference between self-awareness and self-judgment also?
Yes. First of all, because we always feel guilty if we don't do stuff. It's all like shame, guilt. These are all emotions we experience. But try to change your mindset. Everybody is having a busy life. Everybody is busy in this life. Okay, if you didn't go to the gym today, you can at least walk around your apartment or your house so you don't feel the guilt and shame, oh, I gave myself a word and I didn't do it. So because I used to go through that. I go to the gym, I work out, and then one day I feel like lazy or don't want to go. I forget everything I did and I focus on the day that I wasn't doing the thing I said I'm going to do. It's easy. Your mind can play games on you, but who's in control? You can be in control, or you let your mind be in control. It's all up to you. So this is my take on it, because I used to go through the same thing. For example, everybody have success, but when you start maybe procrastinate or be lazy, we forget about all the successful things we do. We focus on what we don't have. We focus on what we can't do. But you can trick your mind into being more aware by remembering the memories, by remembering the success you had before, and this is proof for you that you can do whatever you want to do, because you
better also.
Exactly, you have backup. This is how confidence is created. Confidence is not just looking in the mirror and say I'm confident. No, it's by proving, by doing, by taking action into the steps you want to go, into the places you want to go.
Exactly.
No one will help you with that except yourself.
Exactly. And speaking of self-awareness and having this intellectual awareness and having this great knowledge about ourselves and how we develop ourselves, we're wondering also about the role does the brain play in our habits, and how can actually it can rewire those bad patterns that might hold us back. Yeah,
we all have good habits and we all have bad habits. And it's easier to build bad habits than good habits. Everything bad is easier. For example, it takes 21 days to create a habit, to build a habit. And it takes 66 days to make that habit automatic. It's called automaticity. So 66 days, if you build, for example, gym, you go every single day till 66 times, and then you're gonna wake up and go to the gym without even thinking. It's gonna be wired in your unconscious. So that's gonna be your identity. You get what I mean? So this is all about how you be aware. Everybody, everyone has his ups and downs, but it's when you don't feel like doing a thing. This is exactly the time you need to do the thing.
Exactly.
Nobody always feels good, but when you go to the gym and start working out, you're gonna feel more energized. You're gonna be more aware that let's go, let's do it. Even everybody goes through these bad thought processes, but when you go through that, be aware. Why am I thinking like that? What's happening? What's going on? You need to find your own way to motivate yourself, especially when you're down.
Exactly.
Because it's really easy to go back to the thought. Exactly. So for myself, when I feel down or I don't feel like I want to do something, I start putting on songs. I start looking in the mirror, start dancing.
Can raise up the adrenaline.
Exactly. Or start listening to music, or maybe start praying. When I pray, I get more energized. I get more, a calm mind. So then I go do what I want to do.
And what inspiring about the things you mentioned, one of the most inspiring word you mentioned is limitless. We can be limitless. And now you're encouraging me actually to go back to the gym, which is really something inspiring. And we're wondering about people being limitless and believing in themselves. How do limiting beliefs on the other side, how limiting beliefs form, how it can affect or form in the brain, and what's the science behind breaking them? How we break the limits we put in ourselves?
First of all, you need to be aware of them. What are my limiting beliefs about myself, about the world, about money, about people? What are they? Especially they stem and they root from our parents. So you need to know why I think like that about myself, why I think like that about money, why I think like that about the world. So you need to be aware of it first so you can know how to change it. Look, it doesn't go, but you can know when you're aware of it, you know how you can decide. Everybody's scared of making decisions because everybody's scared of making mistakes. We're conditioned to not make mistakes, but that is not how the world works. If you fail in class, oh, you're a failure and you're going to be a failure in life. Who said that?
It's not true. Definitely, it's not true.
Exactly.
And we're talking also about neuroscience and neuroplasticity. I'd like to know more what is exactly neuroplasticity and how can people use it and create long-term change in their lives. They want something permanent, something effective, and something that can be encouraging always, like not something limited. For example, like when we talk about people going to the gym, not taking it as a lifestyle, just like to fill the leisure they have and that's it. So of course it's not correct. So neuroplasticity, what can you tell us about it?
It's, as I tell, it's the rewiring of your brain into the person you want to become. You need to start like imagining, you need to start visualizing the person you want to become and start acting like it. Sometimes people say this is fake. It's not fake. You need to put these thoughts, the thoughts of confidence, the thoughts of courage, the thoughts of fearlessness. And then when you start embracing these thoughts and you start embracing it in yourself, you're going to start taking action. Because like without taking action, nothing's going to change. If you're going to start worrying, you're starting to doubt, anxiety, nothing's gonna change. We can rationalize, we can complain, we can say this and that and this and that. But if something is external, we can't change it. But we can change one thing, internal. Ourselves. Yeah, everybody wants to change the world, but the last person they want to change is themselves.
Well, that's the spirit, and that's what people miss. And sometimes we do things like sometimes like when you see little kids or babies, like 2 years old, 1 year old. Sometimes if we see them and they don't want to be friendly with us, they don't feel friendly with us. Sometimes we can do a trick, like play something on the phone, videos or something. They come to us. They come unconsciously, even if they don't feel friendly with us. So what are some of the unconscious biases that we all carry and we're not aware of that we're carrying, and how can we become more aware of them?
When you make a mistake, what is the first thing you say to yourself?
Why I did that?
Or I'm not going to do it again.
I'm not going to do it again.
But what do? You do it again, and again, and again. Why is that? These are all unconscious things that you learned from when you were young, because we're all conditioned, we're all programmed, but we're not aware of that. We can make the same mistakes over and over again. Why do I still have the same money in the bank? Why do I still don't believe on myself?
Why I still don't save money?
Exactly. Why do I still not have the perfect relationship? It's not the relationship. It's not the money. It's your unconscious guiding you. Because as I said, 90-95% of what we do is unconscious, all in subconscious mind. So you need to learn how to reprogram that. And how do you reprogram that? By taking action, by doing the things that you're fearful of doing. And then when you do these things, the fear will go less, worry be less, because you have more confidence. You have things to back up. And mostly when we start to do something new, it's going to be scary. Look at all the leaders, look at all the famous people. Why do we look up to them? Because they stepped into fear and they took action and they had the courage to step up.
And they can define success.
Exactly. And that's why we look up to them. But the same power they have is in you.
Everyone has it.
Exactly.
But we need to discover ourselves more.
Discover it ourselves, exactly. And we always focus about the outcome. I want to open a business today, I want to be a millionaire tomorrow. I want to get married today, I want to have 5 kids tomorrow. We're always chasing the outcome. But when you start detaching from the outcome and put in the work, you're going to enjoy the process more. And when you enjoy the process more, you don't feel like you're doing the work. You're going to be happy. And then the outcome, and then the success, and then the money, and then whatever you want will come to you.
Exactly. It's all about the plot and the story. And as they say, the chase is better than the catch.
Exactly.
Always, always.
Yes, yes.
We are really thankful to you, Yousef, and we're proud of your achievements.
Thank you.
We are proud of what you introduced to us and influence us with this good manners and this great enthusiasm and passion. We wish you the best of luck with your future endeavors, and always good luck to you.
One more thing.
Please.
What's your full name?
Mohammed Yousef al-Boushi.
Exactly. How many Mohammed Yousef al-Boushi are in the world?
A lot.
You, how many of you are in the world?
One.
Exactly. So if you don't see yourself as the best, and if you don't act as the best, who will see you as the best, and who will be influenced by you?
Exactly.
So this is what I tell people.
That's the thing.
You need to see it in yourself before people see it in you.
Definitely. That's really encouraging. And many thanks to you again, Yousef. And best of luck with your future endeavors.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The viewers, we just had with us the inspiring, enthusiastic Yousef Qabazard, an influencer. Let's go now and share with you our third report of the evening. It's about business and projects. Let's have a look at it. Be right back. Stay with us.